Okay, so I realize that we're a few months into the new year, 2016, but I wanted to take at least a little bit to talk about Mall Tour 2015. This was my first time doing the Mall Tour in about 5 years, and the reason for that is I never really, I had interest in the idea, obviously. I started it in 2009, Mall Tour, and it was fun. We had a couple good stops. I'm not really going to get too much into that because that was a long time ago, but after 2010, I hadn't done a Mall Tour any of the years since then. I mean, that doesn't mean I stopped going to malls. I still went to a few of them, but what is my big fascination with malls? I wish I could tell you. I think it kind of started as a thing just because I live near a pretty cool mall, or I consider it a nice mall. It's not nice, and it doesn't have like 8 floors or anything, but anyway. I live near a mall, and that's one of my first videos on YouTube was Mall Adventures back in 2006, and, besides that video, I frequent the Crystal Mall all the time. I mean, I'm there every week. Anyone can attest to that. Why I return there, I don't know. Maybe it's just that it's familiar. I mean, maybe it's just, it's nice. I almost never shop. In fact, that's one of the ongoing jokes in the mall tour from last year is I never actually buy anything. I go to these malls all the time, whether it's the one nearby, the one that's about an hour away, or even Providence Place, which isn't too far from here, and it's like a nice 4-floor mall. So for Mall Tour, it's kind of the best of all that stuff. It's kind of just having fun, going to these different malls, just walking around the malls, walking around the shops. And I actually prefer the mall part of the mall, if that makes sense, to the shops. I mean, there's out of every mall that has 100 or more stores, there's maybe 5 or 10 stores I go into often. A couple of the anchor stores and maybe, like a GameStop, FYE. Nothing that I can't get anywhere else, but I don't know. It's nice to see the malls. It's cool to see every city's take on it, every different mall, the way they present the mall. Like Buckland Hills Mall has more of a I don't know how you describe it, a fancy feel to it. The floors are kind of marble-ish. They have these lamppost kind of things up. Then you go to the mall what was the one I went to this year? I went to one for the first time, Warwick Mall in Rhode Island. It's a bigger floor. It's only one floor. It's only a one-floor mall, but I really liked the colors. I liked the roof, the ceilings had that really kind of cool curve to them. So, like I said, every mall just has its own distinctive features. I really loved West Farms Mall, which is the video playing behind me. That was probably my favorite mall tour. And I've been to West Farms before. I've been to a lot of these malls before. So, I mean, the mall tour is not necessarily... I mean, some of it's about trying new things, but a lot of it is kind of just returning to familiar places. So, West Farms Mall I'd been to. Buckland Hills Mall I actually go to quite a bit. And obviously the Crystal Mall, which isn't a part of the mall tour because it would just be kind of stupid. The Crystal Mall's like a 10-minute drive for me. So, but West Farms Mall is one I don't go to very often, and I really had fun with that one. And again, I think part of the reason why the mall tour died, and the same reason it came back, was because of my friends, and because I had some really, not to say I had lousy friends before, but a lot of my friends aren't into this kind of thing, and I can understand that. The mall tour doesn't really go anywhere, especially if you watch the Holyoke Mall video. I mean, I love that video, but if you watch it, I mean, it really doesn't go anywhere. We spend half the video trying to find the Best Buy, and the Best Buy ends up being 2 feet from where we started. So, that's a lot of what the mall tour is. It's just kind of random wandering. It's finding things, discovering things. And, that's kind of the thing about the malls that, makes them worth going back to is they do change. They remodel, especially if you don't come back for a year or so. In the case of Holyoke Mall, they really needed to do some remodeling because a lot of the escalators were broken down. But, again, that's part of the charm. Then you look at Emerald Square Mall, one of my favorite malls. It's a bigger mall in Massachusetts that, actually, I don't know if it's bigger than Holyoke, but it has a lot, it looks a lot more modern, Emerald Square. And true to the name, there's a lot of blues and greens in the color scheme. Again, things I noticed, things I really like about these malls, just the personalities of them all. And I'm looking forward to next year. Yes, there will be a next year for this. Going to some different malls. I've already broadened my net. Right now I'm going to malls in Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts. I'm thinking about extending that. I don't know how far. I mean, I don't really want to be driving 8 hours to a mall, but we'll see what happens. The mall tour from last year, though, just to get a little more specific, it really was a great time. I can think of highlights from every single stop, and that's hard to do considering that there were 6 stops on this mall tour. The original mall tour was 4, and 2010 never really concluded. I only did 2 stops that year. So, I've been to malls before. It wasn't really structured like this, though. 2015, a lot of things went right. I had some great friends with me on those mall tours. The West Farms Mall in particular, Kurt and Kristen can be seen right there. And Kat, wow, that was convenient. I didn't even plan that. But, yeah, Caitlin went on a lot of these mall tours. In fact, she really encouraged me to do this again, much to the dismay of my other friends. But West Farms Mall is probably still my favorite mall tour. I don't know if it's my favorite mall, but it's a great mall to go to. I really liked going to Warwick Mall for the first time, Holyoke Mall. Those were malls I'd never explored before. The other four malls I'd been to in some capacity, one capacity or another: West Farms, Buckland Hills, Providence Place. What am I missing here? God, there were so many mall tours. Oh, Emerald Square. I mean, honestly, they were all fun in their own way. But like I said, it is interesting to go to malls I've never been to before. And West Farms, I don't really go there enough for me to say I know it. Like, I don't really know the layout of West Farms Mall. I know those elevators, which, as you can see here, we spent like half the video in the elevator. But, again, the mall tours were awesome. Going to Providence Place was awesome for a couple reasons. I loved exploring that mall. And also, we saw Pixels, which kind of took front and center. In fact, I think we spent more time watching Pixels than in the mall, but that's because the movie was like an hour and a half or whatever. But I love seeing Pixels. That night was fantastic, one of the best nights of 2015, as well as the Buckland Hills trip, another fun one. I actually found the Sonic Amiibo. Oh, it's right here. Found this Sonic Amiibo at the Toys R Us not too far from the mall. I actually included that in the video. And Buckland Hills Mall, despite the fact that I'm always there, it was a fun mall tour for a couple reasons, one of which being, my friend Jeff and I kind of took off on our own adventures trying to find the Sonic Amiibo, which we couldn't find. But I also bought some stuff at the Buckland Hills Mall, including Season 3 of 24. Wow, it is funny how this is all working out like this. All the stuff I need is right in the place where I need it. But seriously, folks, you've been great. Yeah, so a couple malls I did buy stuff. Most of them I didn't. It's not really about the buying, because nothing's more priceless than a fun time. But I digress. Mall Tour 2016 looks to be even bigger and improve on what happened in 2015, but I just wanted to take a moment and really thank all the people that came along with me on those mall tours, suggested things, added things, put their own little personal take into it. Yes, even you, John, you had to walk, but that's okay. We enjoyed you. And again, it was just kind of nice to have so many different people on these mall tours in so many different malls. I had a lot of fun. I hope that showed up on the video. If not, then I really didn't do a good job on the videos, because mall tour was nothing but fun. Getting lost even a couple times, like on the way to Providence Place, it's whatever. I kind of factor in some getting lost time into all my trips, and I usually need to use it. So, Mall Tour 2015 was a blast. I just wanted to kind of talk about it one last time. Check out the mall tours if you haven't. There are 6 videos plus a best of mall tour montage. Oh, that's a mouthful. Also on YouTube from Bobby Productions, so check that out as well. Stay tuned, because Mall Tour 2016 is right around the corner, and I'm looking forward to bringing more of the same to my YouTube channel, maybe mix it up a little bit. So I will see you then. Until then, happy mall touring, everybody.